Hello, today I'd like to talk about how clefts can cause deviated septums, which often results in recurring sinus problems for people with clefts. Sinus infections are quite common among all individuals. However, people with clefts often are more prone to sinus infections for many reasons, but primarily due to their deviated septums. The septum is the cartilage in the nose that separates the nostrils. In most cases, this cartilage sits in the middle of the nose and divides the nostrils evenly. But some people, especially people born with clefts, have an uneven septum, which makes one nostril larger than the other. This unevenness is known as a deviated septum. Even after clefts are repaired, the septum can be left deviated unless extra surgeries are performed to correct the deviation. This deviation can hinder or interfere with the natural drainage of mucus from the sinus cavities. The added complication of the clefts, allowing foreign substances like food and drink into the sinus cavities, combined with improper drainage, can lead to increased sinus infections in babies with clefts. For children and adults who have had palate repairs, the soft palate can be left weak, which can also allow food to back up into the sinus cavity during swallowing. Combine this with improper drainage from a deviated septum, and people with repaired clefts run the risk of recurrent sinus infections. People with repeated infections often develop dark circles around the eyes and deep indents under the eyes. Now let's take a look at the different sinus cavities and their placement within the skull. There are 4 sinus cavities on each side of the face. These are hollow spaces inside the skull and the facial bones around the nose that perform many tasks. The frontal sinuses are located above the eyes near your forehead. Sinus cavities are behind the bones and can't be felt through the skin of the face. However, some drainage/pressure points come close to the surface of the face and can be accessed by placing the tip of the finger on a certain area. There are lots of videos on the internet that identify these pressure points and instruct you on ways to stimulate drainage. If you want to try these, you must keep in mind that not only are we as clefties bound to have some pressure points in slightly different locations, but when you have sinus infections or difficulty draining, it could be just one type of sinus cavity, all of them, or a combination of a few. The ethmoid sinuses are located on each side of the bridge of your nose, near your eyes. There are 3 small pairs of ethmoid sinuses. These sinuses collectively are called the paranasal sinuses. The sphenoid sinuses are behind the eyes, deeper into your skull. They are located between the ethmoid sinus cavities and the ear. The maxillary sinuses are located on each side of your nose, near the cheekbones. Knowing where each pair of sinus cavities are located can aid in determining where your infection and poor drainage is by the location of your pain. For example, if the lowest maxillary sinus cavities are blocked, it can affect the drainage of the other sinus cavities above it. So it is important when taking action to drain the sinuses, you pay attention to all of the sinus cavities, or at least all cavities below the highest affected cavities, to ensure drainage throughout the whole system. The sinus cavities play several roles in our health. Their main function is to handle air. When we breathe in through our nose, the air is sent through our sinus cavities. Once in the cavities, the air is filtered. Small particles of dust, dander, mites, and other foreign particles that could damage our lungs are removed. The air is also cooled and heated to a temperature that is healthy for the lungs. In extreme cold, it is better for your lungs to breathe through your nose to avoid the cold, unfiltered air from reaching them. The sinus system is equipped with cilia, small hair-like bones that move mucus through the cavities and back to the throat, where the mucus is delivered to the stomach. Stomach acid then kills any bacteria, and mucus helps to protect the stomach from too much acid. The sinuses also provide resonance to your voice as the air vibrates through them, but it is the soft palate that actually affects whether your voice will have a nasal sound or not. A sinus infection occurs when the drainage from the sinus cavities is blocked for one reason or another, and bacteria, fungus, or a virus is allowed to multiply in the sinus cavities, causing inflammation and pain. Antibiotics are sometimes required in the case of bacterial infections, but the main treatment for sinus infections is to restore drainage. So if your doctor prescribes antibiotics and a nasal decongestant, it is important to take both. Without the proper drainage, the infection may not heal, or it may return and be resistant to the antibiotic used, requiring the doctor to prescribe a stronger antibiotic. It is important to remember that every cleft baby is different. Every cleft palate is different, every cleft lip, every combination of the two is different. So it is important to talk with your ear, nose, and throat specialist and determine what areas your baby's cleft can affect in the sinus cavities. I felt that it was important to show you the diagram and get you more familiar with where the sinus cavities are. This way you can be proactive in helping to prevent sinus infections. Now, after palate surgery is done, oftentimes people with clefts are left with deviated septums. For example, mine goes sideways. It makes us more susceptible to recurrent sinus infections. So it is very important that we stay on top of proper drainage to head off sinus infections before they start. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, please hit the like button. That helps to get this video in front of other people who are searching for sinus issues related to cleft palates. If you want to be sure to catch my latest video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Until next time, have a great day.